Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute, I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about why I dropped out of school. I get this question a ton, and people are always like envious of it, and they're like, oh, you're so lucky, and I'm like, no, I'm not. So I just wanted to get into it in this video, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't have receipts, I don't have anything like that to pull up. I just have my words and they're being put out there. So it all started in around 2nd grade. I transferred to a new school from a Montessori, which is like a private, so I had to wear a uniform, that kind of thing. And I switched from that school because that was awful, that school sucked, to a public school. And it was hell from the start for me. I remember the first day everyone wanted to sit next to me and I was cool because I was the new kid. And then that faded off because when you have somebody with CF, such as myself, I have a video on that, by the way, about CF. If you want to know what it is, go watch it. It's there. Go watch that one. I'll link it in the bio. But when you have someone with CF, one of the first things they're going to do is cough. You're going to hear their cough. And as soon as the cough came and they heard it, kids didn't want anything to do with me anymore. My ring light is off. And it's been off this whole video. Sorry. Hello. Good morning. But yeah, kids, they hear that cough and they think, oh my god, gross, contagious, I don't want to be around you, just gross. And I don't blame the kids for acting that way. They were just uneducated, and the school, I blame the school more because my mom fought to be able to go to the school and teach the kids about CF so they knew that I wasn't contagious and that I was just different and, you know, that. Well, they wouldn't let her. So elementary school was hell. And my phone is going off. Elementary school was hell. Constantly getting teased, you know, bullied, all 9 yards, getting called names. Their favorite name they would call me, which is the reason I don't go by my last name anymore because it makes me uncomfortable. Maybe it's like a trauma thing. It's a dead name to me in my head. My last name was Della Rosa, and they called me Ashley Della Grossa. And this lasted from 2nd grade on to literally the day I dropped out in 9th grade when I was 16. So I had to go through all that, you know, and it's just years and years and years of the same shit, of nobody wanting you, of nobody caring, and people asking you out as jokes and just fucking with you, and that's even worse. And it didn't get better. So I kind of sulked through elementary school. Nothing else notable. Oh, there's something notable. In 4th grade, I was in a special ed class. And the teacher tied me to a chair. If you want a story time on that, let me know, but that happened. I was tied to a chair because I have had a lot of anxieties as a kid, and one of them was washing my hands, like, repetitively, and there's a sink in that room. And I guess this teacher just got sick of it and tied me to a chair. Like, I literally tied me to a chair. And I went home crying, and when my mom tried to send me to school the next day, I wouldn't go, and I wouldn't tell her why, because I thought I was going to get in trouble. Eventually it came out, and like, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I was tied to a chair and it fucked me up. And then middle school comes around and things continue, except now things are worse. In 9th grade, a rumor had started that I had had sex with someone that I didn't. And it just took off. And so from then on, I was known as a whore, which was great because, you know, I was in 6th grade, like, not a whore, but okay. And then 7th, 8th grade were pretty tame. I mean, I was still getting bullied, But around 7th and 8th grade, I really was depressed, and I was sad because, you know, I had no one, and I was just like a lonely ass middle schooler. There were things I turned to that I probably shouldn't have turned to. No bullying, and nothing is worth taking a blade to your skin. And I've been through that, and it sucks. And I'm so lucky that I came out on the other side fine. But I had resorted to that, and then it just kept getting worse. And then by high school, I had completely checked out. Teachers at this point also checked out. They realized I wasn't doing any work, so they weren't helping me. And there was one time in specific, I was in math class, I raised my hand to ask a question. She called on me, and I asked it, and she looked at me and she said, "What are you, stupid?" And I put my hand down, and I didn't respond to her, and I never asked the question again. So I wasn't learning anything, and I just checked out. Finally, in May of 9th grade, they called me down to the office, and they said, "Look, you are not doing anything. You are truant." I'm truant because I'm sick, because I have CF. You don't get along with kids. I mean, yeah, I don't get along with kids, but they're like bullying me, harassing me. I have a scar on my elbow. Wrong elbow. I have a scar on my elbow right here from a girl pushing me down a flight of stairs at school, and it was all on camera, but the school said they could do nothing about it because they couldn't prove that it wasn't an accident, even though it clearly was not an accident. But they're like, "Yeah, you don't get along with students, you don't do your work, you don't show up, like, you're gonna have to leave." But here's another option. So they gave me an option to go to online school. And I was like, whatever. I was already checked out and depressed. And then when I dropped out, I kind of became a hermit. You know, like, I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to do anything. So they put me in this online school, and I did it for a minute. And the first time I ever had to go in, because it was a setup like you do all your work and stuff at home, and then like once a week or once every other week or something like that, you go in, like, into the actual classroom with people. Well, I walked into this classroom, and there was like a felon, a kid who got kicked out for like beating someone up, like bloody, a pregnant, like 16 or 17-year-old, I would guess, because they had to have been my age, and then another one who was pregnant and had her kid in a pack and play next to her desk. And I looked around, and I was like, I don't belong here. I'm not the delinquent they're making me out to be. I'm not calling pregnant women delinquents. I'm calling the actual felon and the kid who beat another kid bloody. Like, those are delinquents. I'm not a delinquent. I'm not a pregnant mother. Why am I here? I don't belong here. So I went there that day. I took the test that they had me take, and then I never did anything again. And I had some family for a really long time try to get me to get my GED, and I won't, because I have so much trauma around. I'm sorry I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just like nervous, so like I have a nervous glare. But I never got my GED, and I don't plan to. I think it's a scam, and I think that normal schooling is not meant for everyone, and if it takes me to get that message out and like fail at first, then I'm totally okay with that. I don't think school is for everyone. I think we need more paths. Like, I'm a tattoo artist now, and I'm happy doing that, but I was a tattoo artist. I worked in a shop, and I don't work there anymore, because that's a whole nother story. Let me know if you want to hear the tattoo story. But there needs to be more options, you know? Trade schools, art schools, this, that, music schools, all the stuff, you know? And yeah, school was hell for me. It really was. And a lot of people, I'm going to do a Q&A as a sequel to this video, so if you have any questions whatsoever, leave them in the comments below. And in my next video, I'll get to them and I'll answer them in a video. But a lot of people like to ask me if I regret it, and no, I don't regret dropping out of school at all. I think if I hadn't dropped out of school, I would be dead. I would be dead. I wouldn't be here today it's too bad for me. It was just way too bad. I couldn't take it. I don't think I'd be here today without dropping out, but yeah. I believe with my whole heart that I made the right choice. I'm happier now, and I'm more stable now. I finally got help from a psychiatrist and a therapist. I've been diagnosed with bipolar and depression and an anxiety disorder. And I believe it's all trauma related to school. So that's neat. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them below. I'll answer them in the sequel. I'm sorry this video was so short and kind of random. I'm just getting back into recording. I hope you forgive me. But, yeah. Thank you for watching this far. Bye.